Hello and welcome to Olympian Water Testing, giving you the best in water analysis. Today we're looking at the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and we're looking for lead in drinking water. If we know the signs and the indicators of lead, then we can save ourselves from a lot of disease, and we can also make sure that our water is safe to drink. As we've talked about before, you cannot see, smell, or taste lead, but you need to know the indicators and where it comes from so you're able to act upon it. So when it comes to lead in drinking water, the most common sources of lead in drinking water are lead pipes, faucets, and plumbing fixtures. And certain pipes that carry drinking water from water source to the home may contain lead. And household plumbing fixtures, welding solder, and pipe fitters made prior to 1986 may also contain lead. This is in a lot of older homes that you may find that the plumbing is maybe deteriorating and that can leak lead particles. So how does lead specifically get into tap water? Steps taken during the last 2 decades have reduced exposures to lead in tap water. And these steps include actions taken under requirements of the 1986 and 1996 amendments of the Safe Drinking Water Act and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA's lead and copper rule. Even with all of that, though, lead in the water can come from homes with lead service lines that connect the homes to the main water line, and homes without lead service lines may still have brass or chrome-plated faucets. Even galvanized iron pipes are plumbing soldered with lead, and some drinking water fountains with lead-lined tanks and other plumbing fixtures not intended for drinking water. And it can enter the drinking water when a chemical reaction occurs, and this is known as corrosion, dissolving or wearing away of metal pipes and fixtures, and this reaction is more severe when water has high acidity or low mineral content. And how does it enter the water? Acid or alkalinity of the water, types of the amount of minerals in water, the amount of lead of water that comes into contact with, the water temperature, the amount of wear in the pipes, how long the water stays in the pipes, and the presence of protective scales or coating in the pipes. So how can you find that out? What are the indicators? We know how it can get in, but how can you know? Well, you cannot see, smell, or taste it. The only real way to know is to actually have some testing. But the best way you can know of your risk to exposure of lead in drinking water is to identify the potential sources of it in your service line and your household plumbing. Also, your local water authority is the first source for testing and identifying lead contamination in your water. You can also ask your water provider if you have a lead service to your home, if you have a lead service line, or anything like that. Also, you can ask to have your water tested by an independent third party, and that's the best way to know, because you can't identify it with the 5 senses, but you are able to test for lead in drinking water to make sure that it isn't in your water at all. As we know, there's no safe amount of lead in water, and that's why it's always a good idea to have your water periodically tested for lead.